Hey, YouTube world, we are back. I hope you are having a fantabulous Tuesday. As the NBA playoffs would be entering the Western Conference Finals this week, and we'd be kind of at the pinnacle of this battle between superpowers in the NBA, I wanted to focus in on one specific team that we talk about, because what gets lost in the shuffle here is that the superpowers of the NBA are the Bucks with Giannis, the Lakers, the Clippers. We saw that, but a forgotten superpower is the Houston Rockets. And I know people like to bring down the Houston Rockets because they feel like kind of a nerdy style of basketball, and James Harden is an unfun style of play. People don't like watching James Harden play basketball, but the Rockets are a superpower. James Harden is one of the 4 best players in the league. We can undoubtedly pinpoint that. And what would have happened had they had a full chance to compete in the playoffs this year? And would they have had a chance to kind of tip the boat a little bit in the Western Conference? Now, seeding obviously plays big into this whole scenario, because in the second round they would have matched up with either the Lakers or the Clippers, depending on what the seeding arrangements turned out to be. And one thing that we saw the last time with the Warriors was that the Rockets just couldn't get over that hump. But then you got rid of the Warriors, and the Rockets made the move to improve, and they found themselves in that superpower tier, but a tough regular season and diminished returns by James Harden made it feel like they were kind of in the middle of the pack in the Western Conference, or a step below the Lakers and the Clippers. But make no mistake, the Houston Rockets were easily in that tier of top 4 teams. Why? Because they have one of the top 4 players in the game. So what does that make for competition-wise? We see that the Houston Rockets, who would have played either the Lakers or the Clippers, it's a fascinating scenario and a fascinating triangle we saw in the regular season out in the Western Conference, because the Clippers were better than the Lakers were better than the Rockets, but the Rockets were better than the Clippers. And it was this weird triangle of success that determined what from regular season matchups. Now, the reason that seems a little suspicious is because the Clippers are capable of beating the Rockets in a 7-game series, no question. And the fact that they probably would have beat the Rockets come a 7-game series in Los Angeles in the second round of the playoffs kind of drives home the fact that the Houston Rockets were kind of a tier below, because they weren't as good as the Lakers from regular season experience, and the Clippers had a real chance of beating them any given night. And over a 7-game series, in the NBA particularly, the best team always comes out. I'm not saying Houston is a perennial championship contender. I think they were in 2018 and 2019. But the fact is still there that the Houston Rockets compete on a level up there with the elite teams in the NBA. Now, undoubtedly, I think the Lakers are a better team. I think the Clippers are a better team, and I think the Bucks are a better team. And most people agree with that and focus on the 3 superpowers idea. But the Rockets are undoubtedly right in that tier. The thing is, they've been mixing around their roster and their tooling ideas, and that's what led to their decline on the back half of the season, was that these guys were learning to play together, and Russell Westbrook was playing a stretch 5 for the first time in his career. And you had Robert Covington in the mix with James Harden and Eric Gordon, and trying to figure out how these guys would play together. That's what affected the seeding. But come playoff time, and everyone fits into their niche and they're able to roll together with more practices, I think the Rockets, you would have seen them coast their way up until a matchup with the Clippers that I think would have gone 7 games, and probably the Clippers would have been favored in that game 7. So the Rockets will never know what would have happened with that, and this is a team that has been the second best team in the league for the past couple years, behind the Golden State Warriors, always competing with the Warriors at the highest level, almost taking down the Warriors in 2018. I remember saying when it was 3-2 in that conference finals, the Rockets are a better team than the Warriors at this stage of the game, and it felt like the Warriors were about to flop out. But again, Game 6 goes to the Warriors, Game 7 the Rockets go 0 for 27, wasn't meant to be in that case. But what's fascinating is that Houston finds themselves now with about a year left in their winning window. When you talk about Westbrook's time as a secondary star, the fact that they don't have a third star, and it's hard for them to put a third star together. The fact that they've had the same group of guys in terms of Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker and what was Clint Capella together forever. It feels like they've got one more shot at this, considering James Harden is now exiting his prime, and they have to find new ways to compete without becoming obsolete. A little rhyme right there. So I think there's about one more year left for them to compete. And say this season resumes, who knows what the case may be for the Rockets, but I think we're all under the assumption that if the season were to resume, it would be a watered-down version, and I don't know how well the Rockets would be prepared for something like that to be engaging. So that's kind of where they find themselves in a year that had some kind of promise for them, and maybe they would have hit their stride come playoffs and shocked the world. But still, like I said, they were right up there with the Clippers, going to a 7-game series, in my opinion.